food. We pretty much ended up doing quantity over quality, and I wasn't that happy with it. In comparison to what we could have had.
Typically what you get when you go to a buffet anyway, is you're looking for just like all you can fucking eat.
Yeah, well, it's not a buffet, it's Korean barbecue, so you like cook your own meat and stuff on the pit.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're like, you basically have, the way it works is that there's unlimited rounds, and you can get 6 pieces of meat from the menu, whatever you want, each round. And any food that you have left over, if you're like, I can't eat anymore, everyone has to pay $5 extra. But we didn't end up
Wait, so you have to finish your plate?
Yeah, you have to finish all the meat that's here, and then they say...
But
so
you can bow out at any round.
Yeah, you can like, hey...
So, like, if I made it to, like, the end of round 1, and I was like, you know what?
Oh, we went to round, like, it's not like, it's just pieces of meat, so it's like round 5 or something when we stopped.
Oh, okay, and then you're like, alright, I'm good.
Yeah. 8 cow intestines. That was not good. Not good at all. You had to swallow it. You couldn't chew it. It's, like, impossible to chew.
Okay.
Yeah, and the food overall tasted good. It tasted good, and it was
I can't say I've had the pleasure.
No.
But
no. Overall, it was good. We had, like, there was, like, calamari, there was shrimp.
I do like me some calamari.
Yeah, the chicken was underwhelming, but we also had, like, bulgogi beef and...
bulgogi beef is good.
Pork as well. Honestly, the simplest thing and the best thing for me was this, like brisket, like slices of really, really thin brisket that you just, like, toast up really easily. And sprinkle some salt on there, maybe put some kimchi on there.
Interesting.
It was fun, but I would only
But
do
it gave you the shits?
What?
It gave you the shits?
I think it was because something wasn't cooked all the way through. I don't know. Like,
you're cooking yourself, so you fucked up.
No, well, I actually wasn't the one cooking. It was a guy named Richard who was doing it. But he did really well. No one else had any problems, so it could have just been...
Your digestive tract sucks anyway.
It does suck anyway. So it could have been circumstantial as well. It could have been just... I ate food and it happened to happen the next morning, even though it felt like I was going to throw up for like an hour. Because I was simultaneously constipated and had to have diarrhea. So I was just in like this perpetual state of, I can't go to the restroom, so I'm just like on the verge of throwing up for an hour. And I can't do anything about it. Just wait till I can go.
Well, all right then. Connor.
Is that a beer?
It's a beer time.
It's a beer time.
Because, Connor, this is episode 20 of our 2 Penny Gamescast. What's poppin', players? Welcome back. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host, Connor Elliott. Say hi to the people, Connor.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And normally, we come to you every week, Monday, 8 a.m., YouTube and SoundCloud, to give you the new news in the video game industry. Me and Connor usually pick our 2 topics, 2 pennies, if you will, and give you our 2 cents on them. However, this week, we're doing things a little differently.
Mm-hmm. We're having a little bit of fun with it.
We're having a little bit of fun with it this week, hence... We're cracking back some beers.
Well, someone is.
Well, I am. I've only got 1 beer because I'm out of beer. But
and my tummy's...
Oh, your little tummy because you're Korean barbecue. It hurt your tummy. Anyways, this week, it's the week of the Game Awards, Connor. As you well know. Mm-hmm. You and I will be watching them live, probably?
Will we be?
I'd like to.
I would think so,
I'd like to. For me, it just depends on how my work schedule works out. But I'm talking to a guy, saying, hey man, if I get, I'll owe you a favor. He's like, great, I've got a day I need off coming up. If, we'll do some favors back and forth.
You'll be fine.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Is it Phil or someone entirely
No, it's someone different. It's a different coworker.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this week, we thought it'd be fun to sit back and go through the Game Award nominees, each and every award, minus a couple of ones that we have no business in talking about.
No. It'd be kind of pathetic if we did.
And give predictions of what we think will win, of what we voted for, and then what, if any announcements or showcases, anything exciting happens during the awards. Yeah. Now, how we're going to do this, however, is we've decided to make a little game out of it. So, as we go through, we'll give you what we voted for, what we think will win, and each of those is worth a single point. So, for example, if I were to predict Game of the Year be Doom Eternal, and I also voted for Doom Eternal, I would, and then we get to the Game Awards and Doom Eternal is Game of the Year, I get 2 points. If I had voted for Last of Us and Doom wins, I get 1 point.
Yes, and the predictions will be 3 points. We have 5 predictions
because, the predictions are a little trickier. There's a little more gray area in that, so we decided to give them each more points, and then at the end of it, we'll judge how much a prediction is worth points, if any points are to be allotted when we get there. That will be next week when we'll talk about those predictions. I mean, we're going to predict the things here, but next week when it's all said and done, we'll go over which predictions are worth how many points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But for now, Connor, did I explain that well enough, do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty, it's pretty simple. It's not like we're being really complicated.
And then at the end, most points wins. All that stuff.
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights. We'll hold the 2 pennies game award.
Yeah.
Or something.
Okay, so if that's the case, I get the Krogan plushie that you have on your shelf.
Hey, no, fuck you. That Krogan plushie.
Well, what do you want?
I don't want... What?
What do you want from me?
We just agreed bragging rights.
But you just said trophy, so might as well go with that.
I didn't say anything about a trophy.
The game, the 2 penny Gamecast trophy.
All right.
You don't want anything
We're into the weeds. Let's get into the show.
I'm getting that Krogan plushie.
And for anybody following at home who has any interest in the Game Awards and you're looking at all of the things, at the Game Awards website, we are starting from the bottom of the list and we're working our way up. That way we start with best esports game and then we scroll up and finish on Game of the Year. And then we'll give you our announcement predictions, the gray area ones.
Unlike two of our friends, we're not esports guys, so we kind of steer clear of
we are not.
Categories.
So categories like the best esports host, best esports player, team, coach, athlete, all of that, we're not going to say. However, we think we're savvy enough in the general culture of gaming to talk about the best esports game. So, Connor, let's start with that.
Yeah.
Best esports game. The nominations are Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, Fortnite, League of Legends, and Valorant. Connor, what did you vote for?
Well, this was kind of a last-minute vote because I realized before the show we were going to vote on this one.
I threw it in on
you. Yeah, so, but I am pretty confident in saying that they're both the same thing, of who I want to win and who I think is going to win, and that's Valorant. I may be in my little echo chamber because I only have played Valorant consistently out of all these. I've played Counter-Strike before. It's not my thing. Same thing with Warzone. Fortnite. I've played all these games except for League of Legends.
There is not a chance in hell Fortnite gets. So
yeah, that's the other thing, though, about why I think it won't win. Because I haven't heard any... as big as Fortnite is, I haven't heard competitive...
You can be competitive in Fortnite, but Fortnite is too casual of a game to win this award.
Yeah, it would come down to, I think, Counter-Strike or Valorant, and... due to the fact that I like Valorant more, and it's a newer game, I think that has a higher chance of winning.
See, and this is where I disagree with you. Because I also voted for Valorant, but I think League of Legends is going to win.
Really? Okay, well, League of Legends is a pretty big game, and it
also won last year.
Damn, it's going to double down again, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to double down on that idea. Now, I think Valorant does have a chance, because it's the new, people like the new.
Yeah.
So there's a chance it'll happen. But... I think League is just stupid established, and I don't know, man. I don't know if there's...
One thing I would be really surprised about is if Warzone wins, for some reason.
It's not Warzone, it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Oh, yeah. It was Warzone.
No, it's just Modern Warfare.
That makes more sense, but it also makes, have a less of a chance to win.
Who knows?
I don't...
Call of Duty's popular, people like Call of Duty. The Call of Duty Esports League is legit.
Oh, it's been legit for years now.
Oh, yeah. So
I remember back in high school, it was still going on. Years now.
Okay, so moving on. Best debut game. Then the description is for the best debut game created by a new independent studio. And the nominations are Carry On, Carry On by Phobia Game Studio / Devolver, Mortal Shell, Cold Symmetry, Playstick. Raji, an Ancient Epic by Nodding Heads Games, Roki by Polygon Treehouse, and Phasmophobia by Kinetic Games. Connor, I skipped voting in this because I did not play a single one of these.
So did I. I'm familiar with most of the games on this list.
I am familiar with none of them. I've heard of Mortal Shell and I've heard of Carry On, but I haven't seen anything about it. Phasmophobia was kind of a late year Halloween-esque. It struck the internet up and got them in a frenzy and all that.
Yeah, streamers seem like they would play that game a lot. I don't know if that's true, but
it's one of those new streamer games. And because of that reason, I think Phasmophobia is going to win. I skipped my vote, so I'm foregoing my point in the voting category. No idea. So then I'm predicting a Phasmophobia.
Mm-hmm. I could see that being the case, mainly because of its status as a streamer game, or at least that's what I thought it was. But I do think the one that's going to win is Mortal Shell. Now, the reason why I think that's going to win is because, once again, I'm in another bubble, and that's the Dark Souls bubble. And to stave off the anticipation for Elden Ring, a lot of people were saying, hey, look at Mortal Shell. Looks like a cool game. And it plays similar. It's difficult. And it was well received. And it looked very fun. So, really, due to the fact that I don't have any experience with any of these games hands-on, I kind of just went with what which what I know is popular among a certain crowd of people. But really, this can go anyway. I think a lot of people haven't heard of a lot of these games as like a, the general public hasn't played these games as much. Yeah. So really, it could swing anyway.
Okay, so did you vote in this category?
Yes, I did. No, I did not vote in this
You
category.
did not vote, but you predict Mortal Shell.
I predict Mortal Shell, did not vote because I didn't play Mortal Shell. So
okay, fantastic.
Is going to win.
This next one, Content Creator of the Year. This is for a streamer or content creator who has made an important and positive impact on the community in 2020. The nominations are Alana Pierce, Jay Ann Lopez, Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, and Valkyrie. First of all, I think this is a pretty solid list for the most part. Mm-hmm. I've heard of all but two of the... No, I've heard all but one. I have heard of Jay Ann Lopez. She's all for like gaming for black girls type thing. So that's cool. I've personally voted for Alana Pierce.
You do watch a lot of her stuff.
I'm a fan of her work. She does great stuff. She does a lot. She's been like doing charity streams like every fucking week. Raised probably over $1 million for charities this year. I think also her pop at the end of the year as being a writer for God of War Ragnarok, or really Santa Monica Studios, but let's be honest, God of War Ragnarok. Yeah. I think she's had just a dynamite year. Mm-hmm. Now that might be me in my bubble because I follow her and I watch her and all that. However, I do think there was a creator out there who had a bigger moment in games, and I think that was Tim the Tatman with the Fall Guys thing. So, because I don't know if you saw this, him getting his first win in Fall Guys was like a big deal, and when he finally did it, fucking Twitter exploded.
Oh, okay.
So, I voted for Alana. I'm predicting Tim the Tatman is going to win.
Okay, well, unlike you, the only person I know on this list is Alana Pierce, and I felt a little bit hesitant about doing this because even then I don't even watch a lot of her stuff. But because I'm familiar with her and she does charity streams and she seems like I follow her on Twitter as well and she's a fun person. Mm-hmm. I went ahead and not only voted for her, but also think she's going to win.
Interesting.
Once again, I did not know any of these other candidates, so anybody could really take it and I won't be surprised because I'm not in the know on this kind of stuff.
But shout out to everyone else. Valkyrie has had a pretty decent year. Her numbers are going up.
Who is she?
She's a streamer. She did a lot of I think she was like a big Hearthstone gamer type stuff. All that. She did a little bit of Valorant, but her and her whole crew that she streams with blew up with Among Us.
Okay, that makes sense.
Heavy this year. Moving on. Best multiplayer. For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. We have Valorant, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Call of Duty Warzone, Among Us, Animal Crossing New Horizons. What the fuck is Animal Crossing doing on this list?
I know you said that last time
we said this the other week when we talked about the nominations, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I definitely didn't vote for that. I can say that for certain.
Me neither.
No, I ended up voting for Valorant.
I also voted for Valorant.
Yes, I played all these games. Well, not Animal Crossing, and
I've also played every game.
Guys.
I've played every game fairly extensive enough, except for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, but especially between you and me and our group, Valorant took off. While even though Among Us we played a lot of that, and a lot of other people played a lot of that, I still was leaning towards Valorant due to the fact that I just play it more, and I've spent more time in that game.
To me, when we talk best multiplayer, I get real technical with it. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Were the servers active, and were they functional throughout their entire working? What was the gameplay like? Is it a PvP, PvE experience? If it is PvP, is it balanced? Is it fair? Is it fun? And I think Valorant outshines every single game in this category by a mile.
Mm-hmm. So you believe this is also going to win? That's not just your vote.
No, I voted for Valorant, but I think the mainstream answer, which will dominate this category, is Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah, I am in total agreement with you.
Yep.
I was considering putting Among Us there because it took a lot more people than Warzone does especially because a lot of people on PC, for example, can't play Warzone like myself because it still requires a lot of space.
Among Us is also super accessible. Everybody
it's
can
got
play
a mobile version of the game. So I could see that coming in and stealing the win, but Warzone is just so massive and so continuously popular that, I don't think out of all these games, I don't think anything has a bigger player base than Warzone. And I think that's going to translate.
Warzone is also free to play.
It is free to play as well.
Along with Among Us. Fall Guys, when it launched with PS Plus. So a lot of people got their hands on it. But I feel like Fall Guys kind of came and went. Whereas Among Us and Warzone have stuck around. Let's see how much longer Among Us sticks around. But Warzone, I mean, it's going to be in the new Call of Duty, or it is in the new Call of Duty this year, so it's a done deal. Like, it's going to be here for a while. And it popped off. It's in that top 2 or 3 Battle Royale conversation.
Right. And that's it's going to be one of those. I think it is. Warzone or Among Us.
Moving on. Best sports / racing. For the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing games, we have Dirt 5, F1 2020, FIFA 21, NBA 2K21, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. So I haven't played any of these games. However, I know enough about these games to where I felt comfortable in voting for it.
Yes.
And I voted for Tony Hawk. People loved those remakes. They adore those remakes. And I also think Tony Hawk is going to take it based off of how this category went last year with Crash Team Racing won Best Racing Game. So I think there is. I equally think I'm right and wrong. It'll probably be like Dirt 5 or something. But I'm pushing all my chips in on Tony Hawk.
Okay, well, unlike you, I didn't vote in this category because I hadn't played any of these games, so I couldn't, once again, in good conscience, vote and say, this one's going to win over the other ones. But the prediction I made, and I may be completely wrong about this, is FIFA.
Not a fucking chance.
FIFA is, it's a big game. That was my entire... I am completely disconnected from sports and racing games, but even I know about FIFA.
Well, yeah, of course. You can't. It's the biggest game in the world.
Yes, that's the reason why I think it's going to win, and FIFA has won a lot in the past. Obviously, Crash Racing Land won last year, so I could see it being Tony Hawk. I could see it being that, or I could be seeing it being Dirt 5. But I'm just going to throw my one chip
for that FIFA 21.
Yeah, into FIFA.
I mean, there's a chance, but I think any of these EA sports games carry such a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Like, nobody likes these games.
But
like,
people play it.
And, from what I hear, FIFA is like one of the better EA sports games, but I don't know, man. I'm going to go solid no on that one.
Okay.
Solid no.
Yes, Thursday will be the day
Thursday, we will find out Thursday. Next category, best sim / strategy. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. We've got Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics, Microsoft Flight Simulator, XCOM Chimera Squad.
So, same thing as the racing and sports games. I don't play any of these games, so I skipped the voting for that reason. But
yeah, I didn't play any of these.
No.
My buddy Phil keeps pushing me to play Gears Tactics. He loved Gears Tactics.
He does love Gears Tactics.
He adored it. But I also skipped my vote.
Yeah, well, I ended up believing the game that's going to win is Crusader Kings. Once again, I know this is for a lot of these last entries. A lot of it's just me being in my bubble and what I hear is good and what people are excited about. And out of all these games, Crusader Kings was the one I heard the most about. It's got a very strong cult following, and I maybe was thinking, and it got good reviews when it came out as well. It's considered the best Crusader Kings, so I could see this just coming in and having the win, but. Once again, could be wrong.
I've never heard of Crusader Kings or Desperados. I believe wholeheartedly that the winner of this category is going to be Microsoft Flight Simulator.
That's a very, very safe bet.
You're right. Because when this game came out, it was like people because it came out in that time of like Last of Us 2, and everyone was like, "How the fuck is this flight sim game getting equal, if not better reviews than The Last of Us Part 2. How did that happen?
It's a good flight simulator.
So,
what can you say?
It sounds like they really knocked it out of the park with this sim.
Yeah.
So I fully believe it's going to take it. Mm-hmm. Next up, Best Family. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform, we have Animal Crossing New Horizons, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, Minecraft Dungeons, Paper Mario, The Origami King. So, this is usually a category that Nintendo just dominates. But this year we got a little mixy matchy going on here.
Not just Nintendo this time around.
Not just Nintendo. So, Connor, I voted for Fall Guys.
Okay. Yeah, you had experience with that.
I think the impact of Animal Crossing is too big to ignore, and I think Animal Crossing is going to take it.
Yeah. I never played Fall Guys, so I didn't, if I had to vote for a game, I would have chosen that one, because I played it once. But because I don't play it enough, I decided not to vote, but I did do the same as you, and think that Animal Crossing is going to win. It's too much of a titan this year. I mean, it came out during the pandemic. A lot of people played it because of that. And on top of it just being an Animal Crossing game, and having been in development for years, and people wanting it for so long.
Talk shows inside of Animal Crossing,
literally,
it was a
presidential candidate.
Yeah, they were using as campaign beats to show off their Animal Crossing island.
I have no misgivings about it being Animal Crossing. It's going to be Animal Crossing, but
So Connor, we have finished the first page of nominations. You have voted in 3 of them.
Yeah.
The 7.
Yeah. So don't worry. Everything else is going to be, except for one, is going to be having.
Well, it's probably this next one that you're probably going to skip. But
no, actually no.
Really?
No.
Okay. I did. So we have best fighting game. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat, we have Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Street Fighter V Champion Edition, One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows. Which, wasn't that game just awful? Wasn't it generally everybody hated it?
Maybe. I've never heard anyone talking about it.
And then...
Wait, so that's not going to be the one you think is going to win?
No.
No? Oh,
no.
Okay.
And then finally, Under Night In Birth X Late. And then in parentheses, CLR, which I think is just supposed to be clear.
Tavin, this is a Japanese fighting game. Don't make sense of it.
Okay.
It's what it is.
All right. Well, I skipped the vote, but I feel like it's going to be Mortal Kombat with a bullet.
Probably.
Because,
but
okay, go ahead.
I ended up voting and casting my prediction for Grand Blue Fantasy. It was first of all, it's made by Arc Systems, which make just good fighting games. And the game itself was very well liked. It was popular in Japan. It was popular over here in the West. And it's based off a pretty popular, a gacha game or something some mobile game. So I kind of irrationally threw everything into just, Grand Blue winning it and voting for it. But Mortal Kombat has the better chance of winning. But at the same time, I feel like Grand Blue also has a pretty big chance to just come out of nowhere and steal it.
Yeah, for me, this comes down to Mortal Kombat is the only one that made waves in a mainstream way this year with its Ultimate Edition. I didn't hear anything about Street Fighter V's new edition or anything. And people, I heard people saying, this is basically like Mortal Kombat 11.5. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
I think that alone, on top of the fact Mortal Kombat 11 was already a great game, I think that will carry it to the finish line.
Yeah, I wanted to give a little bit of a bone to the new game. One of the only new games on this list.
Fair enough. Next category, we have Best Role Playing. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. We've got Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Now, I had to say that I remember about a week ago we had a conversation about Final Fantasy VII being in the category of best role-playing game.
Yeah.
About how it's not really
we feel like it's more of an action game.
More of an action-adventure game than a role-playing game.
Than a role-playing one.
So, despite the fact that I love Final Fantasy VII Remake, I couldn't, considering that it's not as RPG-heavy as other games are on this list, I couldn't...
You realize we're in the minority of opinion on this, yeah?
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay.
So I ended up going for the game that I know and love, Persona 5 Royal.
Persona 5. It's so rare where you join me on the the minority opinion.
Very rare, very rare. But this one I just had to go for it. And what I think is going to win, maybe I actually had some trouble doing this because I wanted to say Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's probably good. And my own rule, as I said last time, is that generally if a game of the year is nominated and it's in any other category among games that are not nominated for Game of the Year, it's going to win. Mm-hmm. But I think, thinking that people are going to say, well, it's the better role-playing game, that Persona 5 is going to win. Probably a risky bet. Probably not a smart bet, but it's my
risky.
bet.
Connor, I'm very similar in your thinking. Mm-hmm. I also voted for P5 Royal. This year was the first time I ever experienced Persona 5.
Which probably made it even better.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I really, 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 really love Persona 5. I love Persona in general. I'm hearing rumors of a Persona 3 remake, Connor.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool. Even though you already have it on the PlayStation.
I have it on PS3, but and I plan on playing it. But I disagree with you in the sense of what's going to win, and to me, it came down between Final Fantasy VII Remake and Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think Remake is going to take it with a vengeance.
Yeah,
you know?
I think so as well. The more I thought about it, I was like, maybe I should just say Final Fantasy VII Remake. But part of me is just thinking to myself, it is the better role-playing game, so I got to give it to it.
Yeah.
Which usually I never do, but I just am this time.
Yeah,
something came over me. I couldn't disregard Persona 5 Royal, especially because it's Persona 5, and that's my first entry into the Persona franchise, and by extension, my favorite because it's the only one I played. So, Persona 5, hope you win. So, if not, well, thanks, Final. I'll be happy if 7 Remake wins. No problem at all.
Sure. You can't really go wrong in this category.
No.
Well, maybe with Genshin Impact. That would probably be wrong. That's the wrong vote to have. Okay. But moving on. Best Action Adventure. For the best action/adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving, we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and The Last of Us Part 2.
I'm interested to hear what your vote is.
So, this was a tough one for me, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I've played every one of these, and they're all great games with an asterisk on Jedi Fallen Order. Mm-hmm. But to me, this really came down between Assassin's Creed, Ghost, and Last of Us. Mm-hmm. And I think because keeping who's voting in mind, Last of Us is going to dominate in so many other categories that people are going to be like, we voted for that enough, let's vote for something else. So, really, I think it comes down between Assassin's Creed and Ghost of Tsushima. Mm. Now, for my personal vote, I voted Assassin's Creed. However, objectively, I think Ghost of Tsushima ate Assassin's Creed lunch this year.
Yeah.
So I voted for Assassin's Creed, but I fully believe Ghost of Tsushima is going to take it.
Now, it was without a shadow. This actually was surprisingly an easy category for me to do. Usually the action-adventure game list, I always play pretty much all the games that are on there. But
you're missing like half of them on this one.
I am, yeah. I played Last of Us, I played Ghost.
That's it. That's all you played.
So I ended up voting for Ghost because I really, really love Ghost. And
okay.
I do think that's also going to win. It made such an impact. And, even if... I like the game a lot, but other people love this game.
Yeah, it is adored.
Yeah.
There's a Jeff Keighley does his Players' Choice Awards on Twitter or whatever, and it's really just down between Last of Us and Ghost.
Yeah.
With Last of Us with a 10% lead on it. So everything else, it's good try, but you just don't stand a chance against those two games.
No, you do not.
So great year for PlayStation.
Yeah, no, they just
great year for PlayStation.
I mean, they were really just the only dog still making games during this, this year.
Yeah,
games like that.
Well, I mean, they had their whole lineup planned for this year, and then COVID happened, and everyone was like, "Well, we can skip," and PlayStation was like, "Well, we can't." Next category: Best Action. For the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. Now, the difference between this one and action-adventure, like we talked about the other week, is, for me, action is pure gameplay. How does it feel to move and fight, and how do the combat encounters feel, and which one is more superior in that way. Action adventure is kind of a more like overall package of like having an adventure and, you know, the ups and downs and thrill seeking and having fun that way. And for best action, the nominees are Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, Streets of Rage 4. And for this one, Connor, how many of these have you played? You haven't played a single one of these,
which is why I did not vote for any of this. I really wanted to, but I just didn't play any.
What a shame, bro. You're missing out on some great games.
Yeah. But,
go ahead.
I guess since I already said that I didn't vote, the one I do think is going to win is Doom Eternal. I think Doom, like, it was really a toss-up between Doom Eternal and Hades, partly because those are the two biggest games.
I agree with you.
But I think Eternal edged it out in the popularity aspect, and it plays very well. It's an improvement from the original Doom. This is all from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So I can't personally get my hands on this, but I think that's what's going to win.
I think it's between three games being Doom, Hades, and Half-Life Alyx. However, Half-Life Alyx being a VR title and an exclusive VR title to whatever headset it's exclusive to, I think will hold it back from any real chance here.
Yeah.
I personally voted Doom. However, I believe Hades will win. Hades has had a bigger pop in a news cycle mainstream way than Doom did. Surprisingly, because Doom Eternal was like, you know, they were doing the whole like E3s and like the whole like normal news circuit reviews and all that nonsense behind it. Whereas Hades was like, hey, we're finally out, and everyone was like, oh shit, this game's amazing.
Yeah, you can come play us now.
So I voted for Doom, even though I like Hades more personally. The feeling of interacting with each of those environments and in each of those encounters was never ever old. Each of the brutal kills, I forget what they're called, the execution moves or whatever
they're called,
always effective. If I died, I always knew why. It was always exciting. Doom Eternal was one of the few games in which it's all focused on combat, and it's exciting when you get stuck. Because it's like, okay, how do I solve this puzzle?
In a sense, it's a puzzle.
In a sense of puzzles. It felt almost like what I assume playing a Dark Souls game is, or a Soulsborne game is, where it's like, man, this fucking boss is kicking my ass, and then finally you get it, and you're like, yes! That's how I felt playing Doom Eternal with every encounter that I ever got stuck on. Sometimes I would just breeze through it and I'd be like, man, these guys are fucking chumps.
Yeah.
But the ones where I was like, fuck, man, how do I do this? And then figuring it out and approaching the scenario the right way, great fucking game.
That overall makes a better action game in your eyes, right?
In my eyes, yes.
Even though Hades is...
There's a little bit of RNG with Hades that I think, in terms of pure gameplay, detracts from it. Whereas Doom is a more tailored experience. Speaking specifically for here. I personally love Hades way more than I love Doom Eternal, but that's just how the cookie crumbled. Next, we have innovation in accessibility, recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. We've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, Hyperdot, The Last of Us Part 2, Watch Dogs Legions. I don't think there's any other... I think this is Last of Us, and there's not even a conversation to have.
In both categories.
Huh?
In both your voting and who's going to win.
Yeah. I voted for it and expect Last of Us to win.
Yeah.
It was a marketing beat of how accessible it is.
It totally was. And, my reasoning for voting for it beyond that was... I didn't play any of these other games, but when I booted up Last of Us, that was one of the first things it did. Like, okay, how do you want to play this game? Like, do you want to, what do you want your controls to be like? And obviously it was...
And it went even deeper than that. If you dug through the menus and there was mad things you could do. There, the accessibility community was proudly saying, hey, there is going to be... This is a benchmark for games for us.
Yeah.
There is going to be a pre and post Last of Us 2 world in terms of accessibility in video games.
Yeah.
I just think, there's not a fucking chance.
It's going to win and it deserves to win.
They put in that work.
They did. They really did. Now, I haven't heard of how accessible these other games are.
Not a fucking word. I don't know any of these games. That was never talked about ever.
Hyperdot seems like a game that's specifically made with that in mind. Just
Maybe.
From the little picture I'm seeing, but
Maybe.
Either way, I hadn't heard anything.
I've never
about
even
that.
heard of Hyperdot.
Neither did I. So
next, we have Best VR/AR Game. For the best experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform, we've got Dreams, Half-Life Alyx, Marvel's Iron Man VR, Star Wars Squadrons, The Walking Dead, Saints, and Sinners. I didn't realize Dreams was on this list. Hold on, that might change my shit. Hold on.
you didn't know it was on there? You just assumed it was going to be Half-Life Alyx, I'm guessing?
You know what? I'm going to keep to that. I didn't play any of these games because neither of us have VR. Well, that's not true. I played Star Wars Squadrons, but I didn't play it in VR.
This is one of the reasons why you skipped.
I skipped this category in terms of voting. However, Half-Life Alyx seems to be like the VR game.
Yeah.
Like, it's finally the one that said, hey, this is going to be the platform that it's going to last.
Yeah. If I had to buy a VR headset, it would be for Half-Life Alyx.
I was tempted.
It looked fun.
It
looked really fun.
I was tempted.
You know, I think we talked about it in, what was it, Action Adventure or Action? Was that nominated for? Half-Life Alyx.
Action.
Well, yeah, so, you know, obviously if it was available to a wider audience, people who, you know, a lot of people don't have the VR headset, you would have seen it done even better. But
there was talks that it got snubbed for Game of the Year.
Because they made it VR.
Because it was in VR and not enough people played it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's the way they wanted to make it, and that's what's the end result.
Yep.
Can't really do anything about that.
Next, Best Community Support. Mm-hmm. Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates/patches. Nominees are Apex Legends. Excuse me, I'm burping. It's that beer, working its magic. Destiny 2, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, and Valorant. To me, this just comes down to who was best and most active on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And I think it's fucking Fall Guys. Mm-hmm. So I voted for Fall Guys. What did I predict? Yeah, I doubled down on Fall Guys.
You see, I doubled down on No Man's Sky. I thought, it's kind of surprising because I'm familiar with how long it took to make No Man's Sky and it coming out and being a failure. And then all of a sudden coming around and being this, big major comeback.
Yeah, and I don't think we talk about like the hate and the vitriol and the controversy around No Man's Sky at launch.
Oh my god.
I think was unprecedented in this industry.
Dense.
I think we've since seen it again with games like Fallout 76 and even Anthem a little bit. But the anger and the hate, oh my god.
Yeah.
I can't, shout out to Hello Games for sticking to it, man. Because they knew what they were doing. Holy shit, because I would have cut and run for the hills, bro. Yeah. If it were me, I would have been like, oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah, and for that reason, I'm doubling down, because they just turn everything around, and they're just like, all right, what's next? And,
I just don't know if they made enough pop this year to do that.
They may not have, but I'm throwing my chips behind them for that reason. I was actually thinking about doing, if I wasn't going to do that, Apex Legends, dumping it into that. Due to the whole, anti-crunch culture they had.
Sure, but
it didn't make as big of waves as
it didn't make as big as waves, and also their anti-crunch policy, which I respect, and I would rather it this way than the other way. Had internet forums, which you know how realistic those are, saying, "Hey, there's not enough content in this game," and I think they also fucked up their last season pass. It took way too long to gain levels or something.
So it didn't do as much service to the players themselves as the other games on this list.
Fall Guys, it's just a fun game. Everybody enjoyed it. Everybody likes it for what it is. Everybody recognizes it's not a great game, but it's fun. And the Fall Guys social media team should be just holy shit, y'all fucking nailed it. Yeah, that's the way to do it. So much so that Among Us is now jacking. They're like, oh, what did y'all do? Oh, we're doing that.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Moving on.
So, it's funny you mentioned Among Us.
It's funny we mentioned Among Us. Best mobile game. For the best game playable on a mobile device, we have Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legend of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe Mix. This one, I think, is actually trickier than one might think.
It is. I put all my... I did one thing, put it all behind Among Us.
You doubled down on Among Us.
Yes, I did. Doubling down again. So
fascinating.
Really, I wanted to do Genshin Impact because I do like that game more than Among Us, but I'm aware that the mobile version of that game is, first of all, in terms of size, a pain to get on your phone. And
Oh,
then
I'm sure. A lot of buttons.
yeah, and then it isn't even not even that. It's really just it doesn't it doesn't function really all that well because it's too much to keep up with on
Third-person aiming.
mobile phone. Yeah. So in terms of how it functions on a mobile device, it's just not as good as something like Among Us, which is very easy because that's even like way more minimal controls than something like Genshin.
Yeah.
I could see this being Call of Duty because I do know people played that mobile game, but Among Us still took more people as a whole by it gained a lot of popularity, and I think that's going to show in the mobile category.
I think that's because we're in the eye of the storm that is Among Us.
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty Mobile puts up numbers on the board. So for me, I voted for Among Us, but just knowing the juggernaut that is Call of Duty, I think Call of Duty is going to take it this year. They also took it last year, but I don't know if there was any real competition last year. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Call of Duty Mobile is going to take it because for whatever reason, people just vibed with it, man. I tried it, didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the aiming on a phone. You're just not meant to do that.
And you can play other games at home.
Yeah, and I can play real Call of Duty.
You have your Switch, so you can take that whenever you want.
Yeah, and I'll, if I'm going somewhere, I'm gonna have that with me. Yeah. No, but I do expect it to win. Next up, we've got Best Indie for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. We have Carry On by Phobia Game Studio / Devolver. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout by how do you say that? Mediatonic / Devolver. Hades Supergiant Games, weird. Spelunky 2 Mossmouth LLC. And Spirit Far Thunder Lotus Games.
Mm-hmm.
I would hesitate to call Supergiant Games an indie dev studio, but they're in that weird space of not quite AAA, not quite indie. So I guess we just throw them into indie because they're not making games like Last of Us or some shit.
So,
weird.
Well, that did drive my vote. I ended up voting for. No, not my vote. I'm sorry. This is actually my last skip. I ended up thinking that Hades is going to win.
Connor, I'm going to clown you out just off of skips alone.
You are. Yeah, I know. That's the worst part. It's like the one time it was important for me to play more games this year.
You didn't do it.
This is like
you went and played some fucking bullshit anime Genshin Impact bullshit.
Yeah. And this is the
play
year,
a real game, Connor.
I am Genshin Impact when I do play it. Kind of given up on that recently because I can't get good rolls. But anyway, I'm really paying for not playing as many games this year as I have last year. Yeah, this is the least amount of games I played in a given year.
I played every major game except for Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did, didn't you?
You had all the time to play too. That's what drives me crazy.
Yeah.
We got that quarantine going on. Yeah. Play some fucking video games, dude. I
play video games, just not new ones.
So you doubled down on Hades?
Well, I didn't vote for it.
You didn't vote for it?
That was the one I skipped.
But you expect
was the last I skipped.
I doubled down on Hades.
Yeah, I would see you doing that.
Yeah. Fall Guys fun. Didn't make a big enough pop. Spelunky 2 got clowned out by Hades. Spirit Far I've never heard of before.
It looked good, but
Carry On, people liked its like trailers and its like gameplay demos or whatever, and then it came out and nobody cared. So, I think Hades is taking this with a bullet.
Yeah, same here.
Best Ongoing. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, No Man's Sky. So this might just be because it's the new talk, or it's got the talk of the town. It's got the zeitgeist right now. But I would argue it never, as soon as it came out, it never not had the zeitgeist. I doubled down on Fortnite. No, I didn't. I voted for Fortnite, but I think it's Warzone. Why did I do that?
Well, you see, I kind of went with, I voted for a weird choice, and that's Apex Legends. I decided, I like it so much that's what I'm going to vote for.
Apex is my personal favorite game of on this list.
Oh, yeah. But as who will win, I went ahead and did Fortnite. I maybe, kind of a safe bet, considering it's still big, but maybe not the bigger chance to win as it might seem, due to the fact that it has been out for a while now, and maybe it's like, okay, other games have done more since then, but I don't know. I was actually kind of hesitant about even voting for this one to begin with, but
Yeah.
that's where I'm at right now.
So I voted Fortnite, and I expect Warzone to win. There's something about Warzone this year, because it also came out this year. I think it just grabbed gamers' attentions in a way that, even though Fortnite is popping off right now, and it's doing, it's better than it's ever been, arguably, at least from the outside perspective. There's something about Warzone that, like, I think will draw enough votes in its corner, because it one, it's new, 2, it's Call of Duty, and 3, I think people are tired of talking about Fortnite.
They could be by now.
Yeah,
That could be a big reason why it doesn't win. Just like, okay, Fortnite's a thing. It's been here.
So
Thanos, whatever.
yeah, it was Galactus, but whatever.
Galactus,
They did
Venom,
Thanos. They did
whatever.
Thanos like 2-3 years ago. Games for Impact. For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message, we've got If Found by Dream Feel, Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition, Cardboard Computer, Spiritfarer, Thunder Lotus Games, Tell Me Why, Don't Not Entertainment / Xbox Game Studios, and Through the Darkest of Times by Paint Bucket Games. This is a rare occasion where I just had a complete blind spot to this type of game, which it's a weird category to begin with, but usually it's like 1 or 2 will pop up on my radar, and I'll be like, all right, let me give it a try, and I'll try it, and I'll be like, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
This one, never heard really. Well, I've heard of Tell Me Why, but I haven't really heard of any of the other ones. So I am not comfortable voting or predicting, so I double skipped.
Okay, well, I ended up not voting either. I actually was wrong. That was the other skip that I had. But I ended up thinking that Spiritfarer is going to win.
Okay.
It looked very good. I know Kentucky Route Zero, which is my second option, this is just another edition of that game. It's already been out before. I actually honestly don't even know what's new in this version, which led me to thinking, well,
the TV edition.
Yeah, the TV edition.
You can probably play it on your TV.
Could you always do that? I don't
know.
I thought you could, but so I just ended up the pretty game wins. It looks really nice, and it looked nice.
Okay,
that's what I'm going for.
Well, now we get into the meat and potatoes, Connor.
Yes.
Here
No more
go.
skips here.
No more skips here. Oh, we've got opinions on these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories. Final 6. We've got opinions. So we've got best performance awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and/or performance capture. We've got Ashley Johnson as Ellie, Last of Us Part 2. Laura Bailey as Abby, The Last of Us Part 2. Daisuke Tsuji as Jin Sakai, Ghost of Tsushima. Logan Cunningham as Hades. Naji Jeter as Miles Morales, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Weird they gave it to specifically Hades. Because Logan Cunningham voices like a dozen people in that game.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he does a lot of voices in that game.
But is Hades the best voice?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh, you know what
I don't. Listen, I don't. It's one of the Last of Us girls, and I don't think anybody has a fucking chance.
No, and it's going to be Abby. I think.
You think?
I voted for it, and that's what I'm going with.
You doubled down on the Abby.
Yeah, I think we were both leaning in that direction when we discussed the nominations.
I have also doubled down on Laura Bailey as Abby.
Yeah, she just did the best performance. It was her or Ashley Johnson, and Laura. I'm already a big fan of Laura Bailey.
I feel I can pretty confidently say she is the best actor in video games right now.
Which is what it came down to. It's like, you can't stop her, pretty much.
Yeah, she's a juggernaut. Now, that's no shade to any of these others on this list. They all did great jobs. But I fully believe Laura Bailey is something else. She's a fucking beast.
Now,
this woman did, Connor, just so you know, this woman did Abby, this woman did Catwoman, this woman did Mary Jane, this woman did fucking whatever her character name was from Tales of the Borderlands. All of these 4 or 5 characters I just named, all dramatically different, and you don't recognize it as Laura Bailey.
Do you not?
I don't.
I always recognize
the only
her.
one where I was like, that's Laura Bailey is Black Widow in Avengers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make a sense as out of all the acting roles she's done, that would make the most sense with,
all the other ones I'm like,
was.
fuck man, that's that character. Yeah. Like from Catwoman to Mary Jane, you're going to tell me those are the same actors?
No.
Like,
Okay. So
holy
when you said that, did you mean that it's easy to tell who's in that role, or she seems like a different character in each one?
Yes.
Okay.
If you, especially for Mary Jane and Catwoman, if you were to ask me who I think is in that role, I would, one, I don't think I would come up with Laura Bailey, and two, I wouldn't guess that it was even the same actor.
Okay, because in my case, I could tell when it's Laura Bailey. She has a distinct voice to me.
Interesting.
But yeah, the characters that she plays themselves are always different.
I can hear it in Abby a little bit, but she even adds like, she lowers her octaves and she adds something different. Like she full on encapsulates performance.
Yeah, right.
In her work.
I really think it's going to be her.
I do as well.
Yeah. It could. Ashley Johnson could.
It could be Ashley. It's one of those two.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's a conversation. But I don't think it's fair because Last of Us is. The performances are almost the backbone of that game.
Yeah, they're in my opinion they are the backbone.
It's one of the few, if not the only game in which performance is the like thing that holds it all up. In my opinion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other elements that also make it the phenomenal game that it is, but
I think everyone kind of agrees though that the acting.
Holy shit, dude! They took it to a different level. Next, best audio design: Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, The Last of Us Part 2. Resident Evil 3's only nomination, I believe.
Which is surprising that it's
I'm surprised they didn't get like a best action adventure nod or anything.
Yeah, and I'm even surprised it came out this year. To be honest, like
it was early in the year.
Yeah, it was very early in the year. Yeah, but kind of the same instance as the last voting area. It's going to be Last of Us, I think.
When it comes down to just technical achievements, it's hard. It's hard to vote against Last of Us.
Yeah.
Dude. So we're both double downing on Last of Us here.
Yeah, I have a lot of criticisms of Last of Us. I don't like it as much as other people do. For a lot of reasons, but
certainly not as much as I do.
It's not even close. Not even the same ballpark. But
you do like it?
I think it's overall comes together to an average package.
You need to revisit it. Holy fuck!
I don't think so. I've never
average package.
Yeah, average package.
Whatever. We're on a
technical aspects can only go so far for me, but
oh my god, dude! Gameplay alone makes it one of the best games of this year.
See, I don't even think that.
Oh
but
my god!
With the audio design in this game, it's fantastic. It's probably the best I've ever heard. I'm tempted to say it is. I am tempted. There other games have a more reliance on auditory stimuli.
It's hard, man. You go
really good though.
What? You go maybe like a Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's good. Very good. That's a good contender. But I think Last of Us 2 still does better in that category.
Yeah. I might have to agree with you. Last of Us 2 fucking nailed it. Now,
crisp sounds.
I don't have enough interest in, or I didn't pay enough attention to Half-Life Alyx. There's a chance that one nailed it. Doom Eternal had a very good audio design. However, how many times can you just crush a skull before you're like, all right, yeah, that's what a skull crushing sounds like.
That's what skull crushing is.
Last of Us has such a varied design. Sure, you could do your normal environments and distance from voice lines being spoken, but the choice to have an entire enemy faction communicate off of nothing but whistles and make that as dynamic as it is,
that's
to the point to where you as a player who doesn't understand starts picking up on those cues and start being like, okay, that's what that whistle means. That's what that whistle means. Oh shit, that's the whistle that means, hey, they just did a call out and somebody didn't answer. I need to get away from this body I just dropped.
Yeah. So that's what pushed it over the edge for me for what is the best audio design and gaming as a whole. Definitely, even before then, I decided it's going to be Last of Us. Sound cannot be rivaled by any game that I had played this year. Next. Well, I did say sound, but
anyways, best score and music for outstanding music inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. We've got Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Last of Us Part 2. I don't think you can go wrong in this category.
No, there's been pretty strong categories for music this year.
Yeah. However, to me, in terms of just original score and music, I fucking adore Doom Eternal's score. Mm-hmm. How did they make in direct comparison with its predecessor, a game which had fucking killer score and killer songs on that shit. Like, there are songs that, like, whew, god damn, those are bangers.
Yeah.
To match it, and even in some ways, surpass it, I think is an incredible achievement. And it's just you're just headbanging while you're blowing heads off, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
works well with the game.
oh my god, it's so good. Oh, so good. So I voted for Doom Eternal. However, I think nostalgia's going to play into this. So, I believe Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to win.
Ah, okay. Well, it's funny you say that because mine are the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I voted for Final Fantasy VII Remake because of that nostalgic factor. I mean, like, the original Final Fantasy VII had some of my favorite songs in video games, and they literally just made a lot of those songs better in the remake. And I adored every minute of it. You know, it's the best edition of One Winged Angel. The bombing,
it's definitely the best version of One Winged Angel.
The bombing mission song is great.
Yeah.
Genova's great. Everything I've heard in that game is great.
It's all great.
But with considering how much, like, even though I personally love the music, and a lot of other Final Fantasy fans love the music, and I heard a lot of talk going on about it, whenever I would log on to Twitter, it was always people saying, isn't Doom Eternal like such a great soundtrack?
There was a conversation about Doom's music alone.
Yeah.
Like, there was a conversation about how good Doom is, and then there was a conversation about Doom's music. And the conversation around Doom's score and music lasted longer than the conversation about Doom Eternal itself.
See, that's the weird thing about Doom Eternal is I heard no one talking about it once it came out.
It was a quick pop, but outside of those like 3 week window, nothing.
Yeah, but the music though, I constantly heard about that for like 2 months before. And, some of it was controversy because they got rid of the original artist who performed the soundtrack.
Well, no, they clipped it. So basically they went and edited it in a way that it wasn't intended to be heard.
Okay.
So the composer created it with an intention for it to sound a certain way, but in terms of game development, they had to do some things to like edit it and make it different. And people were like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." But I heard from a couple of different composers who said, "Yeah, that's pretty typical in this industry." Like,
it's kind of hard not to, I feel, do that.
I mean, you're dealing with an interactive medium, so the music has to be changed in order to fit that interactivity.
But despite that, I think Doom Eternal is going to win that award.
Fascinating.
Funny enough, this is the first time I've actually voted for Final Fantasy VII in any of the categories.
I'm sure it won't be the last time.
No, it will not be. Not anymore.
So, we've got, next, Best Art Direction for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Now, so I ended up...
played all but Hades and Ori, but you've seen Hades.
I've seen Hades and I've seen Ori. I've seen a bit of Ori, yeah.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, I ended up personally voting for Ghost of Tsushima. I've said before that the visuals in that game speak to me on a very specific level, to the point where, no matter how good another game may look, Ghost delivers what I want. A very good nature setting that's very windy, very calm, lots of blowing leaves and flowers and tall stalks of grass.
I think I agree with you. Ghost has a great art design. Ghost is subtly very bold, which might seem like what is the word I'm looking? Oxymoron? No. Yes.
Oxymoron?
Yeah. Where you say something and it means something other than
what
it is.
Yeah.
So it's subtly very bold. Because it's one of the few open world games where like you go from one part of the map to another, and that distance could be a 2-minute walk, and it will look drastically different from the area you came from.
That is true too.
It's just suddenly like, oh, you turn a corner and suddenly everything went from green to bright fucking orange, and you're like, oh man, this is beautiful.
Yeah,
like everywhere you go, you're like, the colors in this game are beautiful.
And you mentioned that sometimes there's so many colors that if it was a lot of other games, it would have been overbearing if they didn't just make it all blend together well. Yeah, I don't know if you said that. I
might have. I don't know. Sounds like something
I thought that, but they nailed it right.
Impressively done. Done. Did you go double down on Ghost?
No, I didn't, because due to the fact that I had to give it to Hades in terms of what it look like? Because that game just looks amazing. The backgrounds look great. The character models are fantastic. I really like how
everything
look.
pops in the right way in Hades.
Does.
You know what's on screen at all times, and it all looks good.
And usually with categories like this, usually games like this usually win. Ones that look very unique. You don't get a lot of this kind of graphics, this kind of look with other games. So I think that's going to make it win.
You see, it is for that reason that I voted for Ori.
Yeah.
Because Ori is one of the few games I can say is just a moving work of art in the sense of like a painting. Like that game, the way lighting is in that game, the way just every element of its art design just blends together. Oh, it's so fucking gorgeous. Yeah. The way the sun comes in from the background through the trees and illuminates off of Ori. Oh my god, it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Yeah.
However, I think Ghost of Tsushima is going to win.
You think it's going to win? You doubled down on that one then?
No.
What'd you vote for?
No, I voted for Ori.
Oh, you voted for Ori. Okay,
yeah, that's why we're talking about Ori at all.
That's what I thought. I thought you were saying that's what you...
I think Ghost is going to win because it is the only game on this list that mixes realism and artistic vision. Where it simultaneously... it's real-looking people... who, they run around through the grass and the grass bends underneath them and the sun shines through the leaves super realistically, and when they roll in the mud, their clothes get all muddy. But it at the same time has those elements that we already talked about, where suddenly you turn a corner and it's just color galore in a way that isn't realistic, but it's too beautiful to look at, and it's done so well and it's executed upon so well. I think that's going to appeal to the masses more than any of the others will. So, could be wrong. Everyone could probably just be like, it's Ori or Hades. I could see that. But, also, Ghost of Tsushima had good-looking doors.
You like those doors?
Final Fantasy, disgusting-looking doors.
Well, you really hit those
also,
doors.
I think Last of Us 2, even though...
Yeah.
Arguably one of the most beautiful games to ever be made in terms of fidelity, it's dark, it's dreary, it's a lot of grays and a lot of greens and browns and, not as much color except for a few moments in the game. There's not a lot of color in it.
Yeah, it's pretty samey in a lot of areas, but I did need to give credit to it because if you take that away...
it all looks... You look at it and go, that could be real life.
Yeah, good.
Did you see that story? It was on Twitter a little bit. Somebody is sending... There's some like local news network that like shows off like pictures that people take.
I've seen this.
Did you see somebody has been sending in Red Dead Redemption 2 screenshots?
Yeah. Look at this beautiful park. Isn't it amazing?
This network is like, man, look at this mountain valley. It's like, that's from Red Dead, you fucking moron.
Honestly though, like, it looks realistic the way it's taken.
Oh yeah. Well, they do it very intentionally.
Yeah.
Next category, Connor.
Next category, yeah.
I'm curious as to your take in this category.
Typo, actually. I had a typo on my list.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. The nominees are 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2. I think anybody who listens to this podcast can guess pretty easily that I'm doubling down on Last of Us.
Wait, seriously?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so obvious.
Yes.
So obvious.
Like fucking course I am.
Like, I wonder what Tavin's going to choose with best narrative.
And I'm going to just go ahead and say it now. I'm going to start getting real repetitive.
I can imagine. Well, Tavin, that makes two of us because my vote is Final Fantasy VII Remake.
You're a fucking moron!
The reason why I think, first of all, I said that above average, I think, actually.
You're doubling down on Final Fantasy?
No.
Okay.
No, now,
you voted for Final Fantasy.
I voted for Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Now, my reasoning for it is because first of all, personally, we talked
about the last 3 hours of that game where nothing makes sense anymore.
It makes sense now to me.
On top of a 40-hour experience in which the dialogue is atrocious.
I don't think it's atrocious. I think it's endearing.
It's atrocious.
Double down. I mean, not to double down. To build on top of that.
As someone who liked Final Fantasy VII story,
I like the Final Fantasy.
I liked it.
Yeah, but the reason why I ended up voting for this over Last of Us is, first of all, I said earlier, average package overall. I think above average is more lenient. One of the reasons why is the narrative. I saw a lot of people I've said it once before. A lot of people shit on the narrative. I don't think it was that bad.
Which-
You actually think it was atrocious.
I'm going to go ahead and say we might dip into this later. I think that's just internet talk, and the internet's just not real. I don't think the hate for this game is as large as it feels like.
I think
Especially after seeing that Jeff Keighley polling, like, Last of Us has, Ghost of Tsushima is tailing behind it, but it has a hearty lead.
it does, yeah, it
So-
does. But also at the same time, I feel the same people that like Last of Us are the ones that follow the Game Awards. Because I know a lot of people who play video games who
Smart
have...
people.
Well, say what you will, but the narrative beats of Last of Us are one of the reasons why I don't like it as much, is because it kind of comes together and just flops on the ground like a dead fish to me. It just doesn't do much. It's a little bit harsh. Too harsh, actually, but I didn't care for it as much, whereas this Final Fantasy VII Remake took it in a direction that I didn't expect it to do, or any, remake.
Nobody expected it to do.
Because it's a remake.
Well, no,
quote,
yeah,
unquote.
it's getting remade.
Yeah, but it's taking a completely different direction, and I think that's bold,
Spoilers.
and it makes me more excited about it. And that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
But to feed into that, though, about my comment about The Last of Us, I do think that's going to win the vote.
All right,
I think
you
that's
have
going to
half
win.
a brain cell left.
Yeah. Well, I bet it against my the objective truth, which is that Final Fantasy VII Remake is a better game than Last of Us 2. Spoiler alert for the final category. But I think I'm going to give it to Last of Us for the best narrative.
Such a big umbrella. Like, what are we talking about when we talk better game?
Who knows, Tavin? Who knows?
Anyways, moving on. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Best Game Direction. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovative in game direction and design. We've got Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah. I'm going to have a weird take on this, because I just kind of, an arrow hit me in the head a second ago. Oh, wait. So, when I was making my predictions, I thought to myself, well, the game that's going to win Game of the Year is probably just going to say, oh, and also won Best Narrative. That's chances are that's what they're most likely going to do. Mm-hmm. There still is a chance that they may not. So for that, I cast my vote for Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's why I gave it to. I
think you have an argument in this category. I
what?
think you have, for best direction, I think you have an argument.
Yeah, but that leads into it. I did say that Ghost was going to win, but in terms of direction, Last of Us has a more pronounced direction to it, and I have to give it to that. And that's, kind of a little, hint at what my predictions are for the Game of the Year. I was going to give it to Ghost, because I usually think that... anyway, the point is...
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Last of Us just had a lot of focus on the direction of where it was being taken. Neil Druckmann himself is a very popular figure in the video game industry, and kind of used as an example of a good video game director, along with people like Hideo Kojima. And I think it showed through in this game in the way that it was all directed. Last of Us 2. So, Final Fantasy VII is my vote. Last of Us is my prediction.
So this one actually was a little tough for me. Because to me, this came down between Last of Us Part 2, Hades, and Half-Life Alyx. I had toyed around with the idea of maybe including Final Fantasy in that. I don't think Ghost of Tsushima has a chance in this category. Even though maybe I should, because the way that art direction blends is phenomenal. But I don't think enough... I think just numbers alone of who played it, and also the mystique, the talk around Neil Druckmann as a direct... Like, he's a name. He's a figurehead in gaming now.
He definitely is.
After the first Last of Us, and I think again after this one. So I ended up voting, and I do believe Last of Us is winning. I'm sorry, what did you vote for? Or what are you going to vote for?
I voted for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think Last of Us is going to win.
Last of Us. Heard. Alright. You're also about to get real repetitive.
Very, very repetitive. Yeah, it's not just you.
Yeah, so I'm doubling down on Last of Us. I don't know if there's a game on this list that commits more to its idea than Last of Us 2. I don't know if there's a game on this list that is more ambitious, except for maybe Half-Life Alyx, than Last of Us 2. 7 Remake, you can make an argument for, but that's more of a narrative choice than a entire game direction choice.
Yeah.
So, I I don't know. It's a little tough. I could realistically see it going anyway, but I'm doubling down on Last of Us.
Yep.
So,
and are you gonna double down on Last of Us?
We'll get there, Connor. Stop spoiling our own show.
It's just a guess. I don't know what you're.
Our own show.
I have
Connor.
no clue what you're gonna say, dude.
Connor, game of the year, the big one, the one everybody cares about.
The Big Lebowski.
Nothing else matters except for this one. And fuck you if you disagree. Your opinion is wrong.
It wouldn't be wrong, though.
Alright, Game of the Year. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing, New Horizons. Connor, what did you vote for?
Is it obvious? Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Final Fantasy VII.
I consider this to be one of my favorite games of all time now, after I played it, and me not voting for that myself is stupid. No.
Great game.
I'd be denying who I am as a person to say that it's not going to be who I vote for to win. And I really hope they win. But I'm going to be a little bit of a wild card here. In which, like, when comparing you and our predictions for who we think is going to win. Because I'm going to take a chance and say that Ghost of Tsushima is going to win.
Not a bad guess.
I think it's just going to come because I mean, despite the fact that Last of Us is winning in the Players' Choice Awards, it's free. It's gotten a lot of attention, a lot of good reviews. It also got bad reviews. It also got some negative attention. And Ghost, I didn't really see any of that. And the things that I've heard, the opinions and the reviews and such. Well, I guess they're the same thing about Last of Us. Kind of makes me think it might not win. The chances are it probably is going to win, but Ghost has less. I've seen less criticisms of Ghost than I have of Last of Us, which is why I ultimately think that it may win out in Game of the Year.
That's a fair point. I don't think you can go wrong here. I think every one of these games is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think the only game that has zero chance at all is Doom Eternal.
Not Animal Crossing?
No, and Animal Crossing was too big.
No,
I mean, come on, like Breath of the Wild won in whatever year it was, and objectively not the best game of that year.
No, it was the best game of that year. Yeah,
nah, man, Super Mario Odyssey all the way, baby.
No,
there's something else that came out that year that was my game of the year.
Persona 5, I think.
Oh, I didn't play it that year.
Oh,
played
yeah.
it this year. But
and Nier, but that
I do like Persona 5 much more than I like Breath of the Wild.
Well, there you go.
I would even give Nier a nod before I give it to Breath of the Wild.
It didn't.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
That got nominated, yeah.
Horizon didn't get shit in its year.
Nothing.
Okay. But, anyways, this category actually was a little tough for me. I've played every game on this list except for Animal Crossing. And in terms of thinking of what's going to win, Animal Crossing's impact was too big to ignore. It was really, for my personal vote, and I'm going to have this conversation again, it was a really hard conversation with myself of whether I'm going to vote for The Last of Us Part 2 or if I'm going to vote for Hades. And when we eventually do our top 10 2020 episode, probably like that first week of January or whatever, I'm going to have that hard conversation with myself again of which one is taking that number one spot. This is to me is tricky because to me there's a lot of interpretations of what Game of the Year means. Is it the game that is the most technical game, like in terms of how it plays? Is the gameplay king? Does that carry it all the way to the finish line? Is it the game that personally impacted me the most? Through its narrative beats or its mechanics, or maybe it just came in at the right time when I was in a certain space. Or is it the game that was socially the one talked about the most? Was it the quote-unquote game of the year? Like, it's the one that just never left the ecosphere, never left the zeitgeist.
Surprisingly, Game of the Year is a very hard category to nail down about what's going to win out, what aspects are going to win out compared to other games.
It is. So, for me, when it came down between Hades and Last of Us 2, it was so fucking hard for me. And I think the ambition and the impact and what I truly believe will carry or will progress gaming as a whole into a new era when talking narrative design and narrative the bar of quality set. I think Last of Us 2 is going to get my vote for that for now.
In other words, you're kind of following your heart with that category.
It's a little, yeah. Oh man, I'm torn. I'm so, I can't express how hard the internal conflict is within me, because there is nothing more joyful to me this year than playing Hades.
Mm-hmm. You were constantly, updating. It's like, I got to Hades.
I got it. I got to him. I beat him finally. I did it with this weapon. And then I did it a few weeks later with this weapon. I'm like,
Tavin?
Huh.
He only has 2 phases.
I'm aware, Connor.
I had 3. I don't know why.
You're an idiot. That's all.
Thought I saw something.
Anyways, I think it's undeniable to look at the first Last of Us and then look at all the games that came after it and all the games that came before it. And it's undeniable that the quality of writing in games in general stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's all the way there, and I don't think it'll ever... I think it'll always be a wide range of things. For example, I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla last night, and my mom was sitting on the couch with me watching me play. And we got to a point where I was able to explore a romantic interest.
Oh!
And the writing and the dialogue in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, not to the level of Last of Us Part 2, which was the last game my mom experienced from the backseat gamer perspective. And there were a lot of eye rolls, lots of groaning, lots of, oh God, really?
Yeah. You wanna see my cock?
It was almost to that level.
God.
There was another moment. She wasn't here for this, but there is a moment in that game where someone approaches Eivor and says, "Would you like to see my plow sword?"
Oh.
Yeah. And then when you explore an actual romantic interest, you have 3 options. You can kiss them, bed them, or break up with them. That's it. Can't have a conversation. Can't have like a how you doing? Nothing. That's it. So I truly believe Last of Us Part 2 is another landmark in narrative and in dialogue and in writing in video games. And I don't feel like that should be ignored because, this character's boring. This character didn't mean anything to the narrative. I disagree with both of those ideas. That's stupid that character made that choice. Bro, fuck off. Humans are complicated and they don't always make the right choice. Quote unquote right choice. Or what you perceive to be the right choice. It's the difference between satisfying your audience and being true to your character.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's one thing they know how to do at Naughty Dog, it's be true to character. So yeah, Last of Us 2 is what I voted for. And outside of that, outside of my own personal experiences, Last of Us 2 is like one of the highest selling games of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that narrative beat of being the most accessible game of all time. It's got the craziest audio design. It checks every box for all the technical bullshit. And even though internet controversy aside, for the most part, everybody either enjoyed it or fucking loved the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, you're gonna tell me the story sucks? Go fucking play that museum scene. Fuck you. That story's awesome.
I mean, that's like a moment, though. That's the big issue. It has moments, but overall,
that moment alone justifies the $60.
But it's not even my issue with it, as the core problem with the game is that as a complete package, it falls flat. Individual moments, plucking those out and saying that was an amazing scene. I'll say, yeah, totally. But then it'll be like, oh, well, then you're doing Abby flashbacks. I don't care about this. In some cases. Sometimes I did, with her father, but other times it was just
I've played it twice. On replay, I loved every one of those moments.
And
the first time through, especially that first flashback where you first take control of Abby.
Yeah.
Spoilers, I guess. Yeah, I was like, fuck, I don't care about this. But the next time through, I loved it. On my second viewing, I was there were scenes that got lost in the minutia, or got lost in my binge of playing it. That upon revisit were so fucking thematically like revelatory for gaming. Like there are scenes in that game purely to speak to character and to themes and to tone that you don't get in video games. You don't get that. And not only do you not get it, you don't get it to that level. Like that is, there are moments in that game that are, you can hold that up as just best narrative moments of all time. Moments. And I don't know, man. But, goddamn, is Hades fun to play.
But Last of Us won out over your vote.
Yeah, I'm doubling down on Last of Us again.
Doubling down on Last of Us.
Told you I got repetitive. Those last three categories, I just doubled down.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, those are our predictions.
Those are our predictions for how the awards are going to get. Connor, let's get a little spicy now. Let's get a little spicy. Connor. Let's get into our Game Awards predictions.
Or wild
in
predictions.
terms of announcements or reveals, showcases, whatever happens, you know? Just as a reminder, each of these are worth 3 points in total. If you get, because we're getting a little specific. And, you might get one element of your prediction right, but others you might get wrong. So we're going to split up those points at the end next week to figure out how it all comes down. However,
mine are going to be very round numbers, regardless. Whether it's a 0, whether it's a 3.
you're either nailing it or you're way off the mark.
Right in.
So I'm going to go ahead and start with my first prediction, Connor. Hideo Kojima's next game will be announced. It is not Silent Hills. I think we got all these rumors going around. There's a Silent Hill in production. I do believe those. I don't believe that we're going to see it any fucking time soon, if at all. And I don't think Hideo Kojima is doing it. I'm going to also add on a quick little thing. I forgot to write it down. I do believe, however, it will be a horror game. It will be one of them spookers. It'll be a
You know what you're doing, Tavin? You're trying to be as broad as possible. Like, it's not going to be Silent Hills. It's going to be a Hideo Kojima game, and it's going to be
I play to win, Connor.
You are playing to win. I'm playing to be respectable. Strong. Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Let's see what this first respectable prediction is.
Because none of my predictions are Hideo Kojima. I was going to do that, kind of the same as another one of the other.
Someone's not trying to win.
No, that was the other thing. I was like, Tavin's going to do Hideo Kojima. And you're very specific, obviously. So I'm just gonna, not have that on my list.
Well, I wouldn't touch a From Software prediction out of respect to you, my friend.
Guess what? My first prediction was Elden Ring gameplay or another trailer. Now, it's been actually a while since we've seen any actual
You're gonna
stuff
judge
on
me.
this.
You're gonna judge me.
No,
you're so broad. You're double dipping here.
No. The chances. You're double dipping. I'm going just all in. At least.
You're saying gameplay or a trailer.
No, this is just general stuff. Like this is just either one. I'm gonna get 3 points. So it's not there in any capacity
You've
whatsoever.
worded that in a way to where you can't be wrong inside your prediction. So if it happens...
No, it can be.
If it happens, you get all 3 points.
Yeah.
Like, it just needs to happen.
Yeah.
There's nothing specific about it. I've at least got it's not Silent Hill.
Oh, you did that? I would never do that. That's stupid.
You're a fucking piece of shit. I hate you.
Yes. I gotta make up my points for all the ones I skipped. So this is kind
you
of
need
fair.
Because I think I'm fucking killing you right now if I'm gonna guess.
But, Phil Spencer got his hands on it recently, said it was good. People have been chomping at the bit, or Dark Souls fans have been chomping at the bit to get more stuff on this. And I could see them having something by now and just saying, screw it, we'll show it. Now, don't necessarily want them to, because you know how it could be when you show things that aren't ready to be showed, and it can kind of mess up the whole development. Yeah. So
Final Fantasy, both 7 Remake and 15 are victims of that.
Yes, yeah. Well, remake, not really. It just did one trailer for many years.
No, there was a gameplay demo years ago that, the game came out and it wasn't that.
It was pretty much cut together to.
Yeah, I mean, it was quote unquote gameplay, but the trained eye can see what it is. Question: How do you think Soulsborne fans are going to react to this trailer, gameplay, whatever, off of the back of Demon Souls?
Well, they're two different games, Despite that one of them is a From Software IP, it's made by Bluepoint. You know, and it's a game that's already been out. Elden Ring is completely different because it's the newest game from Software.
Let me clarify my question.
Okay.
Blue Point visually makes very high fidelity games.
Yes.
From Software, arguably not so much. They get a little muddy in the texture sometimes. Them From Software games sometimes.
You see, I've never really seen anybody complain about that or have a problem with that.
Then you're not paying attention.
And
I've been saying for 10 years.
But there have been no Dark Souls fans that are saying like, "Oh my God, look how much better Demon Souls is if this next one doesn't look like this or on the same level."
Oh no, I agree. Nobody's saying that.
So I really don't. But
I don't think anybody's been pushed to think about it that way.
No one has been.
So
and
if
I
we
don't
get
think
this
they should.
glorious looking Demon Souls remake, and then we put it up against something that, you know, isn't in its final form, one, so it's not fair to judge. And two, is gonna look like, what, maybe a Bloodborne? Which is a 5-year-old game next to, you know, from a studio that its focus isn't fidelity. Like, people are gonna judge it that way.
Keep your mind on this, though. This is next-gen game. It's, by Phil Spencer's admission, as much as that might mean or not mean, it's ambitious. That's the word he used. So, you know, is it ambitious in a visual sense? I don't
Doubtful.
know. To be quite honest, though, the visuals in Dark Souls are fine as they are. I don't care if it's like Demon Souls level.
Sure.
I just want Elden Ring, and a lot of other people want Elden Ring.
You want that George R.R. Martin, Connor?
That'd be a nice touch for world building. That's just, you know, cherry on top. If he wasn't involved with this, I would be just as excited. But it's just, you know, a little bit more.
A little bit more. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your prediction is just that they'll show up.
They'll show up.
They'll show up. Elden Ring will show up.
Elden Ring will show up.
How do you spell that? E-L-D?
E-L-D-E-N.
Ring. Will show up.
Show up.
You fucking dared judge my prediction, and then you just had that piece of shit.
Yeah, I didn't triple dip.
All right, number 2. We already know Dragon Age 4 is going to be at the Game Awards. We know this, so neither of us are going to predict anything really about Dragon Age 4. Probably
no.
However, Connor, there's a lot of wheels turning over at BioWare right now. They got a lot of plates spinning.
Are you about to say Anthem 2?
No. No, not a chance in hell. However, I do think Mass Effect in-engine footage will be shown. No hard date. We might get
new Mass Effect?
Of the trilogy. The
okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, the new one, that's bold.
No. We're not getting that for like 5 years.
No.
I do think we are going to get in-engine footage. We're not going to get gameplay, maybe not even like full cinematics, but we'll see what final character designs will look like.
What to expect?
Huh?
What to expect?
Yeah, what to expect visually. I also don't think we're going to get a hard date. It's not going to be like a March 21st. They might be spring. Spring.
I'm guessing April.
Huh?
Yes, April. That's what I'm guessing.
I mean, probably.
But
you know, that's probably a safe bet. But they're not going to tell us that. They're going to be like, yeah, it's spring 2021. And that's it. They're going to leave it at that. That's all I got for that. I mean, I don't think there's much. I think it's going to be a deeper dive into Dragon Age 4, whatever that is. Maybe gameplay? Probably not. Probably just going to be cinematic, I would guess.
Could be anyway.
I'm not predicting that. I'm predicting Mass Effect.
Yeah.
So, Connor.
Yep.
Number 2.
Now, I said that, honestly, thinking about it, Elden Ring may have been my most, like, you know, like, it'd be understandable if it was announced.
Yeah.
If it was shown in any capacity. One of the other things I mentioned, which you're probably going to hate this, is the next Spider-Man game. Yeah, what? I know, because I know, really going out there. But
okay, next Spider-Man game. What
will show up?
Will show up a month after the release of Miles Morales.
That's what I was hoping for. Like, oh, it's Miles Morales. It's just here to keep you tied over till the next Spider. Oh, here's a little bit of a hint thing.
At the Game Awards,
not going to be gameplay.
Not a PlayStation event. The Game Awards. They're just going to announce a Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Like, really, like, be like, oh, this is the name of it. This is
then you clarified not going to be gameplay.
It's not going to be gameplay. That's the one specific thing I'll say. It's not going to be gameplay. But I can see them saying, like, hey, Miles Morales just came out. It's coming up.
You're insane. There's not a fucking chance.
I know.
That is a dud right there if I've ever seen one.
You know what the best part is, Tavin?
Yeah.
I don't even think it might be my wildest prediction.
You're insane. Holy shit. I thought I was reaching for some of these.
No. If you thought the Mass Effect thing, would you think the Mass Effect thing was reaching?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, never mind.
You mean the next Mass Effect game?
No, Mass Effect.
The remaster?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's reaching at all.
I guess
I've got two others that I think are reaching.
Okay. I'm waiting to see what those are. But next Spider-Man.
Next Spider-Man. My third prediction, not one of those two that are reaching. Unless I want to... Hold on. No, yeah. Okay. There will be no less than 3 games shown that nobody cares about. This could be, for example, I wrote down a Magic the Gathering game,
They didn't announce that.
an equivalent to like a Fast and Furious game from last year, like an equivalent to one of those. You're gonna hate me for this. It could be like a Warhammer game. Nobody in a mainstream way cares about.
Yeah, no.
So and it'll be just be something, and I'm not talking like indie games or whatever that like kind of look charming and fun or whatever. I'm talking like, all right, that's for those like basement dweller gamers who like losers. And you're just sitting there like, wow, we're really showing like last year I was sitting on a couch and I was watching the Game Awards and I was amazed that a third Magic the Gathering game was announced.
Like, really? Why is that?
I said 3 of them? So, my prediction, there will be no less than 3 of these games that will be shown, and everyone will be like, fucking, okay, sure.
No less than 3.
No less than 3. If it's 1, I lose. If it's 2, I lose. If it's 3, I win. If it's 5, which is what I think it will be.
This is like the safest bet you could make.
You think?
Safest bet.
You think?
26 premieres last time.
There was a lot. Well, Connor, you have to imagine 2020. There was a lot of events canceled. E3 never happened.
That is true.
You know, a lot of these big. True. There could be some big noise happening this year at the Game Awards. I don't think there will be, but there could be. So that's my prediction. No less than 3 fucking who cares games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I have another prediction.
Okay.
This is actually specific because it's gameplay, and it's very boring as well. Very boring prediction.
Okay.
Far Cry 6. You know.
Oh, you know what? Okay, yeah.
It makes sense because we did get that cinematic
Far Cry
trailer.
6, you're saying gameplay shown.
Gameplay shown, yeah.
Okay.
If they do another cinematic trailer, I'll just be like, why did you do that?
Now, what counts as gameplay? We talking like cinematics and then they cut to an angle that could be gameplay?
That counts. If it's something like...
Okay.
We'd have to like determine when we watch the
gameplay
awards.
asterisks.
Yeah, you have to make a case for it. You know,
Yeah.
Like for example,
it's got to be something that's like, okay, that's clearly fucking gameplay. Like
Last of Us kind of had some things in there that weren't gameplay. It looked cinematic when they first revealed that gameplay trailer. Like there was things intercut in there.
Yeah, it was hard to tell.
Yeah,
and then the game came out, and you were like, oh no, that's all there.
Was it all there?
Yeah,
there was some stuff in there that was not.
No, it was all there.
Some of it was like in-game cutscenes that just transitioned really well.
Connor. That's the beauty of Last of Us. Is that it is that seamless.
I feel like it wasn't seamless when I played the game. As seamless. It was still
it was
great.
seamless, bro. Well, you also have to remember E3, they position the camera getting ready for the transition because they know the transition's coming. Mm-hmm. You as a gamer who's like diddling around with his fucking nuts while he's got one hand on the controller walking in circles, you'll trip and fall into a goddamn cutscene.
Well, either way, we'd still like debate. We could have a little bit of a debate on what is gameplay if that is shown there.
When we'll get there.
But I think that might be, showcased there. The next Ubisoft game.
Will there be a release date?
No, I'm not going to go that far and say there is going to be. No.
Okay.
And I think with the fact
now wait, are you predicting that there will not be a release date, or are you predicting, or you're just not making a
I'm not making a prediction.
You're not making a prediction.
Yeah. The last 2. What's wrong?
I think you've got a guaranteed 6 points on the board right now.
Really? I do. Should have been me.
Because you got such an umbrella fucking cat like guesses here. Spider-Man, not a chance in hell. But Elden Ring and Far Cry. All right, little fucking piece of shit. Next prediction. Now, Connor, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do I make what was my prediction number 5 my 4 in the chance of beating you to that prediction?
You're not going to... Whatever prediction you think may be the same as mine is not going to be on here.
I'm going to do it just in case.
Okay.
A new Blue Point game will be teased.
Oh, I don't have that on my list.
A new Blue Point game will be teased. This could be as obvious as like a quick little trailer that says something like new Blue Point game is in production, and it'll be something kind of we're not quite sure what it could be. It could be some Metal Gear. It could be something else. Who knows, man? Who knows?
So your prediction is going to be a hint at
It'll be a hint
at something.
It'll be a hint, or it could be as small as Jeff Keighley giving out, an award or something and just being like, oh yeah, those guys at Blue Point, they're working on something,
That counts. That counts.
Here, I'll clarify it. If it seems like Jeff Keighley knows what's next.
Okay.
If it seems like he knows what's next. Like, if he's been in talks and he's got an idea. If he knows, but there will be no confirmations.
Okay, yeah. It
will not be a clear title.
No.
It will not be a year to expect it. It will not even be a platform to expect it on.
No, they wouldn't be that hard, that restraining if they were to say, if they were to do something about
it'll be an image, and everyone will be like, remember when Sekiro was first announced and nobody knew what the fuck it was?
People thought it was Bloodborne 2 because it's like like some kind of contraption.
It'll be something like that.
Now, I'm a little bit miffed because you say there's zero chance of anything from Spider-Man being here because Miles Morales was just released.
Not a goddamn chance.
Demon Souls was just released by Blue Point. I think this is you wanting so badly to get some news on the Metal Gear Solid remake that you're just like, it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there. Konami's being good this year.
All right. Talk your shit. The difference here is you have. The difference here is
difference.
Insomniac is a PlayStation studio. They own it. They're going to show it at a PlayStation event. And they're not going to show it a month after release of their last game, because that's not the way PlayStation rolls. Blue Point, however, is an independent studio who just hangs out with PlayStation a lot. And I think a Blue Point tease is more exciting than a Spider-Man 2 announcement. Everybody knows a Spider-Man 2 is coming. Yeah, no shit. Like, it's the highest selling game on PlayStation. Like, yeah, it's coming. The Blue Point thing, however, we have no idea. So, it's gonna be months and months of internet forums guessing. Oh, is it Metal Gear? Oh, could it be something else? Could it be an Eco? Could it be all the other classics have been remade already. Fuck. What is another classic? Could it be a
Crash Bandicoot? No.
We had that already. Could it be a fucking like a Resistance?
Fallout New Vegas.
Could it be a Fallout remake? Like, dude, a Blue Point Fallout?
That would be cool.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now, that's very, very valid. Extremely valid.
That's a great idea. A Blue Point Fallout.
That would be good. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Have another studio to come in to make a better Fallout game than Bethesda has made. So, yeah, that'd be cool. Are you not aware of that joke?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
Another Fallout game that...
Because people,
Well, if it was a Fallout game, it would have to be Xbox exclusive.
It'd have to, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, but, that does make sense that they would do that. But the problem is that people speculated for a while what Blue Point's next game was going to be before Demon Souls was announced. And then it got announced and it's like, oh yeah, it's coming out this year. In months, actually.
You're right, they could hold it.
They held it last time, they could hold it again. But it would be possibly good marketing to just be like, hey,
well, I think the Demon Souls remake has put Blue Point on a different level in the public eye.
I agree, yeah.
Like, because this is the one where everyone goes, holy fuck.
Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus looked good, but it still was Shadow of the
Everyone
Colossus.
was like, okay, it's Shadow. And the problem is with Shadow is it looked how everybody remembered it looking.
It does,
even though it wasn't. It was obviously way better.
Yeah.
But everyone looked at it and said, no, that looks like Shadow.
Yeah.
Demon Souls, everybody undeniably was like,
that looks better.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and then the animations were top notch. It was one of the best showcases of the
lighting
PS5.
and man, like, oh my god. So that is my fourth prediction.
Is the fifth prediction your wildest prediction yet?
No.
Is it not?
No, the Blue Point one was.
Okay, then I guess I better go with my wildest prediction.
Okay.
Now let me rationalize it, right? Because you're gonna make fun of me, you're gonna call me an idiot, you're gonna do all these different things. My fourth prediction is, when you said that we have to be more specific with our guesses.
Make it spicy, Connor. Make it spicy.
So you know what? There's going to be something. There's going to be something from Starfield.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, my reasoning for it is that...
No, that actually makes sense.
Really?
Yeah, no, continue.
Okay, well, my reasoning for it is that the bare, theoretically, the bare minimum that this game has been in development is 2015, because Fallout 4 came out that year, and they could have just said, okay, let's get started on the next big game that we're making on.
You don't think 76 took precedent?
I think that was more of like a side thing. Like it was going on. It was prioritized, but it wasn't like
it's in Fallout 4's engine.
Yeah, it wasn't Todd Howard getting ready to make a new game for the next generation and have a new concept. And maybe if they spent more time getting ideas.
Todd Howard's the director of that game, though.
He is, yes, for Starfield.
He's for 76. Yeah.
Well, it could be like a Dark Souls Bloodborne situation where Miyazaki was the director on both those games, but
you could
really,
just be saying it wasn't all hands on deck.
Wasn't all everything in all my work on this. So I could see us getting something because it has been at least 5 years, and at the most it's been 2 years because it actually has been. 2018 was the year that they teased it, and we haven't heard anything since then. So, it could be getting around to that time.
Year either. Bethesda's been real quiet all year, except for Doom.
Yeah, so could be the time where they say, okay, let's pull out this big gun.
Connor, that's not a bad prediction, especially when you consider last year, the Game Awards relations with Xbox, excuse me, have been very, very good and very healthy. If you'll remember, last year they showed off the Xbox Series X for the first time. They revealed it. At the Game Awards. So, now that Bethesda is under Xbox Game Studios, it's very possible we could see a Bethesda appearance there. Would it be Starfield? Who knows? But I'm almost, like, a side prediction that doesn't count. I'm almost willing to bet, that there will be a Bethesda showing somewhere in there under the guise of Xbox.
That may be even better prediction.
Oh, it is, but you've made yours, and I've written it down.
I've made my bed.
You just said something from Starfield.
Something from Starfield. Yeah, I was going to say gameplay, but that's a little bit much.
Connor, I'm going to just run you down your predictions.
Yes.
Elden Ring will show up. The next Spider-Man will show up. No gameplay.
No gameplay.
Far Cry 6 gameplay asterisks shown.
We'll debate that.
Something from Starfield.
Yep.
There's nothing specific about any of this shit.
Nope. I didn't know that. And my bed's been made as yours has been made.
I told you weeks ago.
I forgot that. You can't just expect me to remember that. Like, you have to
We've been
realize,
talking. All right.
I made this list yesterday. In fact,
I believe that.
It's actually almost like, okay, Elden Ring.
I mean, to be fair, I had, as of yesterday, I had 2 lined up.
And then you just finished it off.
And then I finished it off. Which, speaking of finishing it off,
yeah,
my final prediction.
No, this is a crazy one.
You're gonna hit me. You're gonna hit me again for talking shit about your Spider-Man prediction.
You are. Hypocrite.
Ratchet and Clank final demo. Hard release date announced. They're gonna give us the month, the date, the year.
I'm trying to find the contradiction.
Because it's another PlayStation title and it's showing up outside of a PlayStation event.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's Insomniac as well.
Yeah, you are being a hypocrite. Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. But this one makes a little more sense because we know Ratchet's coming. like we've seen gameplay, we've seen things. It's coming very soon.
Aside from you being a hypocrite, that's a very, very likely scenario.
The problem with this, Connor, is I'm saying final demo.
Ew.
Yeah.
See, that's a little bit weird on the point system.
I know.
How do you know it's
we
the
could
final
we could retroactively have to come back and give the final dub to you, Connor. Now, here's the thing. I think I'm fucking clowning you out in the nominations. So I'm not scared of losing a single point.
And these predictions will come out and just destroy your ass.
Also, so what? I lose 1 point off of the final demo, but if they still give us a hard release date and if a demo is shown, that's 2 points.
Yeah.
So, I'm not scared.
You'll be fine, most likely.
I'll be fine. Oh, I'm so excited for that game. I'm hungry for that game.
It's coming.
Connor, your final prediction.
My last one. Maybe, considering this actually may be the one you're like, this is not coming, considering what you just said about Starfield, about it actually being possible.
Uh-huh.
But my 5th and final prediction is gameplay. This is a specific one. I was going to do just general, but I'll double down on this one.
You're finally growing some goddamn balls.
Oh, I've grown balls by skipping votes and then just doubling down on this. But I am going to make a prediction for gameplay. I'm burping up ramen. Of Avowed. Gonna see a little bit of that.
Whoa!
Gonna see some Avowed gameplay.
Whoa!
And I will really like to see it if that is the case. Now, Outer Worlds came out pretty recently.
Now, is this gameplay asterisks or is this gameplay hard?
Gameplay asterisks. Let's go that.
You lost your ball. You lost one testicle.
No, I still have them.
You still have them.
One may be smaller than the others, but I still have both of
Gameplay
them.
Avowed.
Yeah, gameplay asterisks Avowed. I'm itching for more stuff from this game.
That's a sexy prediction right there, Connor.
Yeah,
That's a sexy one right there.
And I'd like it. I would like seeing stuff from that.
I would also like to see some stuff from that.
But obviously, just don't rush it. But hey,
is there any more to that prediction? Release dates? Release windows?
No release date at all. If you want to put that asterisk on there, or that little extra thing on there, final no.
I don't want to ruin your.
No. Do what you think is best. You are the host of the Two Penny Gamecast.
No, it's your prediction. It's your prediction. You can have that. All right.
That
Connor?
concludes it.
That concludes it. And next week, we'll go over the winners, some quick pointages, maybe some upsets or whatever. And then I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know if it'll be a normal episode or I don't know if it'll just be all about the Game Awards again, but more of like our showcase roundups, like how we used to do, how we've done in the past. Don't know.
It depends, I think, on like how much is announced.
Depends how crazy we might just cherry pick announcements and trailers and reveals and stuff and use those as our pennies and have a normal episode that way. Who knows? Game Awards do happen later in the week, so news cycle kind of makes sense that way. There. So, anyways, that probably does it for episode 20 of the Two Penny Gamescast. Once again, you can find us Monday, 8 a.m. Please check in next week to see me just fucking clown out Connor. I'm pretty sure I'm fairly confident. Watch me be like a 3-point difference.
It's funny. That'd be really funny.
Spider-Man will show up.
I mean, hey, listen.
Not a chance.
If I don't win this competition, I can say for certain that I kind of won overall this year ever since we've started this podcast, because when we made our prediction, or we made our list of the top games on PlayStation, Final Fantasy VII Remake ended up getting more points than Last of Us. So I think I'm just fine with that.
Fucking travesty.
Right? I always think about that.
That's a travesty.
God of War 1.
God of War 1.
Second place was Final Fantasy because of me.
We were in the times. We were off the hype of it.
I'm still there. I'm still there.
Probably would still be in the same spot.
Would still be in the same spot.
Anyways, check back next week. See how we did. Until then, say bye to the people, Connor.
See you guys.